Wonderful to have with me today as my esteemed guest in the studio. Well, he was going to be in the studio, but he's very busy with a lot of engagements. And that's our new PCC, Rupert Matthews, Leicestershire Police Commissioner. How are you today, this evening, Rupert? Welcome back to Haj Radio.
I'm busy. I've been out on a visit up to Measham, did another visit to Loughborough. Now I'm talking to you, and then later on this evening I'm going off to give a speech. So it's been a bit of a day.
So a lot of work, a lot of legwork happening since you became a PCC?
Oh, gosh, yes. I don't think I've ever been so busy because I've got to do the job, of course, but also and no ends of police stations to visit, charities I've got to get to, and also community groups. So, it's really interesting getting out to the community groups, visiting different places. But then at the end of the day, I've got to do all the work as well. So, yeah, really busy.
Well, right now, everybody, if you're listening in on Facebook or you're watching the YouTube, you'll see that Rupert is looking absolutely fresh and ready for action. So any one of you who've got a question for him is ready. He's going to answer all your texts or your telephone calls.
I don't know about looking fresh and ready for action. I'm feeling a little tired, and I'm going to be...
No, this is...
going to be glad to have me supper, but never mind.
I see one of the listeners is already on the ball straight away and he's asking me a question. He says, Zed, can you ask Rupert, why is he wearing a red tie?
Why am I wearing a red tie?
Yeah.
Well, when you get dressed every morning, you have to decide what to wear. So I've got my blue suit on, as you can see, and the red tie, I'll try and get a bit close to the pattern in the red tie is the same colour blue as the suit. So it does sort of go. And red and blue look rather smart together, so why not?
Now, I have a lot of questions to ask Rupert, and already some of you listeners are taking me up the wrong track. And another message has just come in here on my phone to say, Rupert, you're not only wearing a red tie, but you're also wearing a red on your pocket there. That is undoubtedly totally red.
That's your red hanky, see, for cleaning the glasses.
Now, another text has come in. This should be blue. So, Rupert, I got a problem here now. Something's going on out there, right?
Blue. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, and that's why I took my red glasses off, and I thought I don't want to get caught up on this. When we started the program, you see, I was showing you my new glasses. So
very important. Got to be a fashion statement.
Now, Rupert, this red, blue, and yellow 2021. Let's put it aside and let's get on with the work that we have to do in the community. You and I, Rupert. Right. Here, all of us are Haj Radio. We got to join forces and we got to make a difference. And we need to change many things that are in our community and work together as a team and exchange information and share our grievances with each other.
Correct.
Now, it's not possible that you're going to reach every corner of our city. City and county are different dynamics. You'll agree with me, Rupert?
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, not only are the city and county different, but we must always remember Rutland as well. The Leicestershire Police covers Rutland, and Rutland is different again. But you're absolutely right. The city has got all sorts of special demands on the police. And of course, one of those is staying in touch with our wonderfully diverse communities. We've got lots of different communities.
Any idea how many diversities we have in Leicester?
Stay in touch with all of them.
Right. Any idea how many diversities are in Leicester today? You may have privy to some of the census information.
Well, off the top of my head, and I'm going to get this hideously wrong, but I think there are something like 35 languages spoken on a regular basis. But if you're looking at, if you like, the bigger communities, we've got about 18 or so. One of the newest, of course, are the Somali community, and I went to see some of their representatives last week.
Oh, they have a good football team there, Rupert. Did you know about them? Do you know about their football team?
No.
Rupert,
no, I went to meet them.
You are missing out on some serious knowledge is power. They have one of the best football teams in Leicester.
Well, I watched a football match at Hinckley on Saturday. I was over there for that football match. There was a pre-season friendly. I didn't know the Somalis had their own football team. If anyone out there is from the Somali community, send me details of the football team because I'd love to come and watch you.
Well, their team is called Athletico FC, and they are smashing everybody out of the park at the moment.
Hang on.
Right?
I will write that down in my.
You got to memorize these things.
Atletico, did you say?
Athletico, yeah, FC. That's what the name is, right?
Yeah.
Leicester Athletico FC. Of course, if you're into football, you'll know that that is a team that with the same name in Spain.
You're right.
Right now, what it is, the Somali is not one of the newer communities in Leicester. They came here in Leicester in the 90s and in 2010.
They've grown a lot over the past 4 or 5 years.
Right.
I think
their figures in Leicester do not exceed 15,000. At the last count, it was 14,800, but I'm estimating around 15,000. So we have many other new communities that have joined the city. Every decade, we have different communities that are joining the city. And the question is, are we, as the previous communities who came here in the 70s, and our police force, our councillors, our MPs, are we equipped with the correct skill sets to deal with all these 40 diversities in our city, Rupert?
Well, I think that is a challenge, but it's one that we've got to get up and meet. I mean, for the councillors, it's really straightforward. You have an election every 4 years, and so you can go and talk to the candidates who are standing for election, find out what their views are, what they think, vote for the one you like. When it comes to the police, I think what's really important is that both during their training and during the time that they are police officers, all of our officers need to go under training, both in cultural awareness and basically in getting and talking to the communities. Now, 3 weeks ago, I attended some classes with some of our new recruits where they were engaging with an imam, with a Hindu priest, and gentlemen from the Sikh community. And there it was deliberately being done so that the new police constables, some of which, of course, don't even come from Leicestershire, never mind from Leicester. They're coming here because we've got a reputation for being a very good police force. They were being taught about the etiquette of entering private homes, about the etiquette of entering places of worship, so that they are aware of what they've got to do and how not to cause offence, and basically how to interact with the different communities that we've got. And that's really important because I want the police to be out in our community, staying in touch with the public, and basically being part of the community. So I was really pleased to see that. Also pleased that police officers, as they carry on through their career, continue to have refresher courses. Because you're right, it is absolutely essential that the police have the skills that they need to interact with all our different communities.
Of course,
and that they do so on a regular basis.
Now, what I want to ask you is that in Leicester, we have a population of approx 400,000, right? Is that correct?
It's a little bit less, I think, but yes, not far off.
Okay, let's round it off to that. His actual figure is about 359,210, but
sure.
Maybe I'm out of date with that figure, but let's say if we have 400,000, and bearing in mind the new census, and which a result of that will come to us in 20th of April at 3 p.m. in 2022. Are you aware of that?
I didn't know the 3 p.m. I will admit, I knew it was early next year. I didn't know the precise time, so you'll have to forgive me on that one.
Well, it's okay. You know, as we say here on Haj Radio, that knowledge is power. We need to always seek knowledge every day. So here, what we're saying is out of 400,000, in the ethnic community percentage is going to be what percentage in the city?
What, you wanting me to guess?
I guess, yeah, top of your head, based on current information you have.
I'm going to guess when the figure comes out next year, it's going to be city boundaries as a whole. Let's have a think. 57%. That's what I'm going for.
57. Well, I had it at about 59%, so we're not far away. We can still be friends. At 2% is no problem. We can still do a deal together. So with that many ethnic communities in the city, and then today I'm not going to ask you what the breakdown of that is because time is short, and it is a huge breakdown between the different ethnic communities in the city, from the Afghanistans, the Iranians, Iraqis, and the Eastern Europeans, and the list is very long if we were to start with A and we'd finish at Z. And this is what we're getting at now, is how many out of the ethnic community work in the police force, not only on the force, but also on the admin teams. Behind the police is a huge admin team as well, isn't there?
There is, yes. The staff that we have working for the police are almost as many as the police officers themselves. So it is a big part of the operation.
How many you got total?
Sorry?
Total frontline policemen and then the background. What's the total?
Total frontline policemen at the moment is around 2,100. It's going to go up to 2,200, I think, by the end of this year.
Yeah.
And we'll be into sort of about 2,300-ish by the end of next year. But some of that depends. Some of that's going to depend on the amount of money that the government gives us for next year. So,
right.
There's a little bit
here we now, we're moving fast now, right? There's a text message coming in to me right now to say that while some people are cutting back on police and some people are adding, saying add the police force on there, right? Yeah. But why has no one made an attempt to digitize our streets? It's every day now you can see technology in last 20 years has moved.
Yes, it has.
It has not moved for 200 years as it has now. So here it goes. One of the messages come in. Let's say on our road. You know where we are? On which road?
Yeah, no, tell me. Where are you?
We're on LE2 in Evington Road.
I'm looking at the map. Yeah.
Evington Road.
Oh, Evington Road. I know where Evington Road is, yes.
You know the significance of this road?
It's got a lot of shops in it.
All of these main inner city roads used to have a lot of different shops on there, but today, 2021, they have a lot of different shops on there. So what this one of our text messages has come in is that why can they not develop technology on the road, either end, where the whole road is policed digitally, right? Okay. Why is that impossible to do? They keep talking about saving, cutting back, or adding more on the street when we're in 2021 and the world is digitizing, right?
Yeah.
4 digital platform companies are literally running the world today, right? And you and I are right now talking about things that were set back in Dixon Dock Green times.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well, a lot can be done digitally. Of course, there are CCTV cameras in a lot of the cities.
CCTV is a product of the past. It was a 40, 50-year-old technology. We're talking about RoboCop there, right up there in the sky on a building, and he's watching over the whole street. He's identifying your regular man in the pocket who is identified, facial recognized, then the message goes back to your station and you take appropriate action from there.
Well, that would be a very modern view of the future. I mean, we do have drones. The Leicestershire Police Force does have drones that go up above the city, above the countryside.
Rupert, Amazon is going to beat you to it. It's going to deliver your razor blades to your house at your doorstep, right?
I know. I mean, we do have a few issues. One, with facial recognition, there are some civil liberty restrictions about that, and there are some civil liberty concerns, and quite right too, if you ask me. So, that can be used by the police in certain circumstances, but not else. We've also got number plate recognition cameras, which can track where different vehicles are driving. And so, it is possible.
Right, Rupert, let's now you and I come up with an idea to make this road to be the first road with a modern policing system on here, right?
Fine.
We
if
have
you want to
here,
go down that road,
on our road, we have 25 diversities here, literally, right?
Yeah.
And it's impossible for our local policeman to come and interact with all of them. He needs help, he needs support, he needs some serious digital tools to come on. And you have a staff, your predecessor, he had a staff of 30 people in his team.
He did.
9 was sponsored by, I'm just going by my memory when I last spoke to him. 9 of them were sponsored on a government scheme for violence reduction.
Yep.
Have you just picked up on that, or have you got a new team on board?
Well, I have just taken over the old team because, these aren't political appointees. They are civil servants. So when the elected official, that's me and my predecessor, was a Labour politician, when we changed, the staff stay the same. They're professional staff and so on. So yeah, I just took them over, and jolly good they are too.
So Rupert, what I'm saying here now, you and I, if we're going to be the best of friends, we need to do some forward thinking here. We need to go 10 years ahead and do things now, what we were talking about 20 years ago. You remember when you and I used to watch Star Trek?
Oh,
right?
Marvelous program, yeah.
In the 70s, and he used to take that phone out and he used to flip it and say, beam me up, Scotty, right?
That's it. Brilliant.
Now,
yeah.
did we ever believe that that phone was going to be, Motorola made the phone in 1990s? Yes. Would we believe that?
No, not for a moment. It was small, it was tiny, and you could communicate through space. And yet now we've got mobile phones. So
Rupert, right now as we speak in India and China, a 9-year-old is writing code, and within 6 months he's producing a product of the code that is written. So this is how fast the digital world is moving, right? And while we're talking about it, people are getting ahead with technology and innovation. So if we're going to go forward and we carry on doing what our predecessor did, then we're not going to make a change. We're not going to make a difference. We need to really put a legacy behind that. People will say that, that man Rupert made a difference.
Up to a point, because policing is all about people. Criminals are people. The people that catch criminals are people. And a lot of it comes down to local intelligence. And that means having the police officer knowing the area, knowing where the shops are, knowing where...
I appreciate that, Rupert, but...
So you can't get away from people
data is king.
Technology is great, but you can't get rid of people completely.
We understand that. We appreciate that, right? So where in our force, we need to sit with our Mr. Simon Cole and embrace these new technologies and how that can help us police our streets better. The corners of all these inner cities are utilized by people who cause social disorder, and our local policeman, he needs all the help at his disposal, at his fingertips, so he can see, he can prevent something happening before it happens. And deterrent...
we are constantly upgrading the equipment our police have. I'm sure you've noticed they very often have a camera lens attached to their jacket. Well, that's recording evidence of what's going on. If a crime takes place or the police go and arrest somebody, that's recording the evidence, and then that can be used in court to make sure that we secure conviction.
We need to step up the game, Rupert. You have a lot of interest in the extraterrestrial life forms, yes? And you've even
written a few books about them.
You've written some books about it, and I've been reading some of those books. I haven't read one complete because I tend to sort of pick and choose chapters that interest me.
Fair enough.
Because with a lot of things to read, it's sometimes difficult to read every day. But in some of your writings, and what I'm talking about, if these extraterrestrials are getting ahead of us because we are sleeping and not embracing tomorrow's technology, then we're going to be at a loss, Rupert.
Well, if there are extraterrestrials visiting Earth, for a start, that's not been proven. And a lot of the aerial phenomenon, the UFOs and flying saucers and so on, are not linked to aliens at all. There's a very good chance that a lot of UFOs are entirely natural phenomena, which got nothing to do with
before some of our listeners get totally confused and they start feeling a little bit of a David Icke, so we will go back to the point we're trying to make here, everyone listening in, is that we need to embrace digital technology like we've never done before. So all of you listening in right now, don't just sit there by the fence. Bring in your ideas and talk to us and tell us, well, what have you seen in another part of the world which we can look at here? And some of these things maybe locally can be applied, and that information can be then fed to our local officer.
Well, that's right.
And we can take the initiative on ourselves. And if
I have got a team here which is about 3 or 4 people, and they do absolutely nothing but look for new technology, as you say, the other police forces.
Now that is the team you need to introduce me to.
New technology that companies are developing, and they're trying to sell to us and say, look, this would be great for policing. Of course, we've got to try it out. We've got to test it. But yeah, we've got a team here, and they exclusively look at new ideas and try and think, how can the police use this technology to catch the bad guys.
Rupert,
So, all of this goes on,
like
and you see it in the streets in the end.
I know you're very busy, so you need to engage me with this new team that you have.
Okay. Well, at the minute, of course, it's all terribly hush, hush and secret because we don't want the criminals to know what we're up to. When this new technology is deployed, very often, to start with, we don't make a big song and dance about it because we don't want the bad guys to know what we can do. When it starts seeing the light of day is when it starts being used in evidence in court. And of course, at that point is when we can roll it out more widely across the streets of Leicester to make sure the police are using the most up-to-date technology to keep everybody safe. So it is going on. It's just we don't always talk about it because we don't always want the bad guys to know what we can do.
Now, Rupert, while we've gone a little bit off track, a lot of messages are coming in now. I need us to cover them all because I know you have another engagement very shortly.
Yeah, now, you've got me for another 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Now, two organizations are contacting me right now, and they're asking me to ask you directly.
Yeah.
That in 6 minutes, we'll give 3 minutes to each. There's two organizations. One is called BLM, right?
Yeah.
And they're asking why you refuse to engage with them.
Okay. I haven't refused to engage with the Black Lives Matter movement. I've refused to engage with the Black Lives Matter UK, which is a very specific organisation, which is wanting to be a political party so it can stand candidates. And to put it bluntly, I think that some of their views are quite extremist, just as I won't engage with the English Defence League or with Britain First. And other organisations that I think are extremists, but with the Black Lives Matter UK organisation, specifically, they want to defund the police, they want to close down all the prisons, and they've organised quite a few demonstrations which have turned violent and which have seen police officers put in prison.
We're going to move to the next one now.
That specific organisation I won't talk to. The more widespread Black Lives Matter movement, I'm very happy to talk to anybody from that movement.
Okay, another one
and have done in the past and will do in the future.
Rupert, another organisation has sent a text message in right now to say MEND have got alliances across the country in every city, but they are not getting engagement with yourself. MEND is an organisation who are tackling Islamophobia.
If I remember correctly, they wanted me to take part in, I think it was a phone-in. And I couldn't do it because I was already booked up at the time to do it. I haven't put a block on them, so it's not that I won't talk to them. If they want to send me an email or phone the office, I'll be quite happy to talk to them. It was just that one particular evening I couldn't make.
Right, now we're going to move fast now.
Get in touch with the office.
Right,
that'd be great.
I appreciate you're on the run at the moment. So we have a lot of unrecorded crimes concerning drugs, antisocial behavior.
Correct.
And these are the things offline we need to go through. Perhaps we can organize a forum and you can address that forum, right? Because there are a lot of these things that are not reported. So when one of the commissioners will say that crime in this area is lower than crime in another area in the city, well, the point is, and counter argument on that is, well, you haven't put all these crimes on your records. So your figures look good.
Yes, that's right. I was in Ayers Monsell this morning and somebody was making exactly this point to me. And if the police don't record it, then it doesn't show up in the official figures, which means that it's meant to be not a high crime area and it doesn't get the policing it needs. So any of you listeners out there who witness a crime or a victim of crime, please, please, please report it to the police. You can report things online. You can phone 101 and report crimes that way, because we really do need to get all these crimes recorded, partly so that the police can investigate them, but also partly so that we know where crimes are taking place and where the police need to go to tackle them. And if people aren't reporting things, we're not going to have the accurate information and we can't do the job properly. So please go online, phone 101, report any crimes you're aware of.
Now, another message. Messages are coming in fast. I can't cover them all. So any of you listening in right now, please excuse me if I'm not able to do so because Rupert has to another appointment. Now, Rupert, Diceworth Village Hall, you're familiar with that?
I am.
Now, you know, when you went there, they give you
3 or 4 weeks ago, I think. Yes.
You had some,
just as when we were allowed.
You had some cream tea there.
Yes.
Did you have some clotted cream or was it just...
No, it was clotted cream.
You have
and
some scones?
It was all made. We got it all from the canteen here, so it was all in the house. It was all nice and good, cost-effective stuff. And who did I meet with? I met with the local police officer, the local councillor,
now,
parish council, a whole load of local residents.
Okay, what I'm going to suggest now, Rupert, put away those cream tea and clotted cream and all those goodies. We'll have some good food here, some nice slice of pita bread made from olive oil, and we'll be putting some nice slices of lamb in there. And
very nice too.
You need to then make time, check your diary, and we do a nice meeting here with a lot of good people in the community.
Good.
Who can engage and we can embrace. And I would like you to pop over with your team and let them get to know some of these inner city roads.
My email address,
right?
I'll tell you what, because as you say, I'm busy, but you got my email address. Send me 3 or 4 different dates. And we'll sort something out between us.
And Rupert, you got to come here and you got to say, I am Rupert Matthews, right?
Be absolutely delighted.
You got to be assertive on that day when you come, right? And then,
absolutely. I'll come up the Evington Road and I'll hold you to that promise about pita bread and lamb.
Of course.
We'll do it.
And we're going to do that now.
Email me about 3 or 4 dates and I'll be there.
All right. We'll make an arrangement there and get about 20 or 30 good people on the table. Excellent. And we can address many issues, and we'll also get the local commissioner in this area to join us.
Good idea. Anyway, I'm going to have to go now, I'm afraid, because I arranged this speech I've got to go and give before I arranged this call with you. But like I say, give us an email, send me some dates, and I'll come along to join you and your friends, okay?
Okay, thanks a lot for coming today, and I look forward to meeting you soon. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Assalamu alaikum. That was a wonderful time we had with Rupert, and he will join us again. So all of us in the community, we cannot just be talking about things, complaining about things. Ultimately, we, the community, are going to have to take a leaf out of own books and do something to effect change. We all have to come forward, bring on our ideas, and engage and create change. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. We're just going to sit here next year and talk about the same old things that we have done so in the past. And if any of you are serious and you do really want change and you're sincere, then do engage with us and share your ideas with us. Call in right now on our telephone line here on 0116 482 086. So if you can put the number on the screen, please, and we can read it better. So right now, we have a guest waiting. So if you can come and join us right now, and we can continue with our next guest. Do we have a guest? So one guest after the other. It's hard to deal with in a 1-hour program. So, of course, another text has just come in that, yes, I would be interested to engage with Rupert Matthews. Please let me know the details. I have many questions to ask him. So that's what I like to hear. I like people to join in and share your ideas. We can't build this community with one person or two persons. All of us together have to join hands, and we have to make things happen. You know, political change does not happen if you don't take part. Now, those of you who don't know, a recent Leicester East councillor, there was a by-election, and there was only 16% turnout. Now, one of the brothers who's joined me here in the studio, my good brother, if you'd like to introduce yourself to the people of Leicester.
Absolutely, thank you very much, Zed. My name is Tariq, good brother Islam, and I'm a local community worker, youth worker.
So you're the action man in Leicester, yes?
Inshallah, trying to be.
Right. Now, you heard what Rupert Matthews says. He says he's interested to come and have a kebab here. He's used to having cream tea, clotted cream, cup of tea at Dicewith Village Hall, and get some pictures taken over there. Now, if he comes here on Evington Road and he embraces every one of these 39 shops and he says to them, I'm Rupert, I'm here, is that going to make a difference to the people here?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Now, is that the kind of engagement we're looking for?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We need people to come down and engage with the community. And you know what, when you come down and show your face,
Yeah.
and meet and greet people, it makes a lasting difference. It makes a big difference.
Now, of course, our city, in the ethnic community,
Yeah.
and the wider community also, is almost 50% under the age of 35. Yes?
Okay, I didn't actually know that, but yeah, there are a lot of young people.
A lot of young
A
people.
lot of young people.
Now,
Yeah, you're right.
if we don't engage all these young people
Yeah.
in the governance, then we're going to have a problem, aren't we?
Absolutely, absolutely, we will. Yeah, we have to be, as young people, we have to be involved. From ground level all the way to the top levels. The more involved we are, the more control we have.
Now, you see, I was talking to Rupert about eyes in the sky,
Yeah,
right? Now, you've seen how much destruction is caused all around the world with eyes in the sky, right?
Yes.
And we can't catch one person standing at a street corner in our inner city with eyes in the sky. What's going on here, man? Is that right or is that wrong?
That is right. It's quite funny because I was watching I read a meme once on Instagram. It said that if somebody's ever threatening you with a knife and trying to kill you, go stand on the bus lane, because they've definitely got cameras there. You can go on the bus lane and you'll get a camera straight away, no matter where you are from England. But yeah, you could get stabbed or shot. You can get attacked.
So we have put forward a few ideas to Rupert, and I'm not convinced that he's taken them on board. So I want all of you people in your families, you'll have many young techies. They can come forward with ideas. They can even make it happen. That this is a technology which is available to buy right now, and you can start policing, and you don't have to do it yourself, but you have to take these ideas and put them on the table. Say, here guys, this is available, this is how much it costs. You have to drive this change. It ain't going to happen otherwise. You have to be the change that you want to see in this world.
100%.
Brother Tariq, so if we steer these young people and take on all their positive energy that they have and put it into community development, will that make a difference or not?
It will make a massive, massive difference. It will literally change our community. It will change our country, and overall, it will change the world.
Now, Rupert mentioned the Somali community, but there are 39 other communities living in this city.
Yeah.
Right? So to single one out is not the way. We have to look after all the communities.
Absolutely.
Right? If we segmentize, then we separate each other. We create our divisions, we make them bigger and wider. So we need strategies that bring all the people in the community together on one platform to effect change. And whether we do it with our sporting, the best place to start with our sports, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, one of the best ways is to bring people together is through sports. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree.
So there's a lot of good initiatives happening with our sports fraternity right now. And I will share with you, Tariq, that many of the teams that are playing or organizations that have been evident here for 20 years, they have made a lot of difference. I will not go through their names, but literally all the organizations in football have been now very active for over 20 years in the city.
Alhamdulillah, good stuff.
And we're working hard to bring them all on the table and set the agenda as to what we want to achieve. And last week we had a lawyer here in the studio, and I said to him, Mohammed, when are we going to see the first Asian football player in the England team? And you know what he said to me, Tariq? He said, 5 years' time.
5 years' time?
Yes. And he said that, but there's a problem, Zed. He said, it ain't going to happen because we are not together. The Asians. He means, when he said the Asians and the Afro-Caribbeans, he said, we don't sit together, we don't work together as a team.
Yeah, in many ways that's true.
So is there merit and value in that?
Yeah, I think that point is quite true. We all do say, one ummah, one pain, but how much of it we practice together, to be honest with you, I think that's a different story.
Now, further to do community development, how important is it for us to encourage, to mentor to offer assistance to young people who want to pursue a career professionally or in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, it is very, very important. Our young people are the future. If we don't work on our future, if we don't develop ourselves, our young people, then it's our own future that will look bleak at the end of the day. It's like, if we don't equip ourselves, and if we don't train ourselves, our life will be affected. Same way, if we don't train and support our young people, then our world will be affected, and we will see our world going downhill in every angle.
Of course, you see on Evington Road, for example, a road that Rupert Matthews probably has not frequented on a one-to-one level. And like this, there are 4 other roads in Leicester. After Evington, you would say Narborough Road, Belgrave Road. That's 3.
Yeah.
Which would you say is the 4th one?
Potentially that's hustling and bustling, and that's bringing business to the community and everything. I'd probably say Greenland Road. I think is another big busy one.
Greenland Road. Then you'd say East Park Road, Uppingham Road. So
of course.
this is mainly the crux of the inner city.
Yeah.
So politically, this is Leicester East and Leicester South.
Yeah.
Right. And here, the division of all the different people that live here in these 2 areas, Leicester East, Leicester South, and when you see that only 16% of people turned out to vote for the councillor in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Now, a Conservative councillor, he won that seat as a councillor.
Because not enough people voted for.
Well, the normal people who vote for Labour, they did not vote. So when you do your stats, you'll find out that the Conservatives did not increase their vote bank. What they had in that area is what they had now. But the other side, the red ties, they did not vote. So what's going on there, Brother Tariq?
I would say it's just, I think maybe people are tired and given up hope of, voting for people, asking for, and hoping that somebody will make a change. And time after time, maybe they have been misled with false promises and it's not been fulfilled. Or maybe there's not been enough outreach done to get people to vote and to...
So do you think we should invite over from the Labour side MPs, councillors in that area into the studio and ask them this question, Tariq?
Yes, I think we should. And I think going forward, I think we should say to our MPs and, and the people who we vote for that, listen, whatever you promise us before we vote for you, we need those promises fulfilled once you get in power.
No, this is the issue about the vote. Why 16% only turned up?
Again, I think it's because, in my opinion, I think it's because within the local community, sometimes we feel that, what's the point of voting? Nothing's going to change. It's going to be another person dealing with the same stuff again. And
it would be interesting to know how many in that constituency, what different age groups there are who are eligible to vote, to find out why such a discrepancy. Why are there not so many people registered or taking an active part in these council elections? Because if you don't do that, right, then you're going to end up complaining that there's an issue here. Is it an election or is it a selection? Which one is it? Election or selection? Or is it a selection or an election? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think in general, if people were educated more and shown the benefit of being able to elect someone, shown the benefit of being able to pick a leader, then people would vote. And also, I think people are looking for a leader who will come represent them.
I see. So this is a very important point for everyone to take an interest in this, because tomorrow, all our young people who are then going to be represented by a politician, whether he's a councillor or whether he's a MP, if they don't take part now, then they're the ones who are going to be complaining tomorrow.
Yes, I can I can agree with that, but I think just me sharing my experience from talking to people in the community. In the past, we have discussed topics like is it good to vote, should we vote, and stuff like that. And again, time and time, it comes back down to a lot of people feel nothing will change. They're always promised things that are not delivered.
Of course, this is a point which everyone, if you've got a comment on this, first of all, we need to know, are you part of the system or are you standing at the fence complaining, right? You all got to take part in your local elections and also when the national ones come by. You've got to become aware, politically aware, and all this knowledge accompanied with the data will help you, won't it?
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're saying, you're saying that if we all actively get together and start voting and start using our political powers, we can make a change. Again, I think people need, education regarding it, how they can make a difference, and reassurance. That's what it is. All it is, people have lost their hope. They've lost their faith in that system because for so long they've been let down.
Yeah.
But now, I genuinely believe that if there was to be an outreach program where the political party who's going to genuinely help us, a leader was to come around and ask for help and support from the community, they would help and stand behind that person. But that person cannot be just in it for them own selves. It has to be a person that's genuinely going to help the community as a whole. Every single person, every community.
Now, of course, Rupert did mention something about the BLM UK wanting to separate division, wanting to form a political party, which he felt was just like the EDL. Of course, I wasn't aware of that. Were you aware of that?
I'm not aware of the BLM movement trying to create a political party in UK. I'm not aware of that. Maybe
so all of you listening in right now, if you have any research on that, or we ourselves will look into it after the program to get a little handle on that, to see what's going on there, right? Because to engage with all different organizations is a must.
Yeah, absolutely. So sorry, Zada, but I think, in general, if people are not listening to our communities and people are not listening to what we're saying, then guess what? We should make our own political parties.
Of course, everyone is free. We live in a democracy. Yeah. And of course, putting aside, somebody sent me a text message saying, are we allowed to speak the truth in Parliament? Well, of course, you're not allowed to speak the truth anyway in Parliament because you're not an MP. So you got to be an MP to be in a parliament, haven't you? So if you become an MP, then
by all means.
The answer is yes, you are allowed to tell the truth anyway. What our Deen teaches us, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So then I would say then it's our responsibility then to train ourselves and put ourselves in positions where we can of power, where we can.
Of course, what this message on the text referring to was Dawn Butler. Are you familiar with that story?
No,
right.
No.
Dawn Butler is a Labour MP.
Okay.
And she called out the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, on many things that he had said. She listed them out and she says, these were lies.
Yeah.
And she got slapped on the wrist and she was asked to leave Parliament according to section, I think it was 42 or 43. I don't know what those sections are all about because I'm not a parliamentarian, but all of you probably are following the news. You saw the same as I did. So I think it's good to do some research, isn't it? What that section's all about.
Yeah.
And pick this up. But she got a massive support and from the wider community in social media.
It's weird, it's strange, as many people would have seen in the news. Matt Hancock actually got caught cheating on his wife in Downing Street, and then nothing happens to him. But then someone spoke the truth against Boris Johnson, and she got a slap on the wrist, and,
Well, the situation on that Matt Hancock is everybody listening in right now. That is it a question what we should ask is what everybody in the community is asking. And on another program, we can discuss these things in more detail, but a lot of text messages come in on these particular matters.
Okay.
That we're not the political experts on this, Tariq, and we just follow what the public will send a text, so or people are voicing their own opinions, and we're not here to, take sides as such,
of course. Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So here on Haj Radio, we purely are very, very keen on community development, and Rupert has quite willingly, live on radio, said that yes, he would like to set up a meeting. So let's take him up on that. And
absolutely.
if you also take part, and many people that you know in your age group, come meet with him, bring a list of questions, and we can address them to him. And we can find the right time for this and have a little bit of a snack and a good meeting with Rupert.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. It's a great idea, but I think to build trust in the community, just like anything, if one meeting may not do the job. If someone makes regular effort, for example, if I really care about someone, it will be my responsibility to check up on them. Make constant effort. It's after a while that you build the trust and the relationship. So the same way, within our community, I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done, from the people who represent us.
Yeah, now I can see a time coming that literally all these streets that we have mentioned today, the main streets in the inner city, and many, many streets will be totally digitally controlled. Totally. Where the eyes in the sky will be there all of the time. And these are the kind of things I want to discuss with his team. He said that he has got a team there that are looking at ideas all the time. And we need to engage with them to say, well, we need this to happen imminently. Now, they have funds at their disposal. If they don't deploy them, yes, we're not saying completely we want to be rid of all the policemen, not at all. We're saying that we need to use every digital technology available at our fingertips to bring about change.
Yes. However, I would say though, we do need to use, all the digital facilities we have to bring about change in terms of education, in terms of reaching young people and everything. However, in terms of the government having access to our digital profile, I'm not too sure about that, to be honest.
Of course, digital profiles, people, there are many concoctions to that, right? Here we're talking about crime prevention and keeping our crime figures low. A reflection of your community, your social well-being is directly related to the crime stats in your city. Right? We don't want to be living in a city where we live in fear that your house is going to get broken into, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, right? We've got to use the same technology, if not better, 10 times better than the person who comes outside your house, he puts his laptop open, and next thing you know, your keyless car is gone. Right? Now, if he's 18, 19, 20, whatever age he is, and he's deploying technology that is bought on the internet, then what are we doing wrong? Why are we not using technology to stop him using his technology? This is what I'm talking about, Brother Tariq. You with me now? Are you with me?
No. I've always been with you, Zed. All it is like I said, there's a massive mistrust between the current people in power, or in general, it's been like this, and I think it just needs to be worked on.
So these are all good ideas we're talking about to make us a safer, better community going forward. So all of you take part, and let's come all together and have a meaningful discussion, and some good comes out of it. If we've discussed 20 bullet points there and we can achieve at least 5 to 10 of them, then we're happy, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's work on this, you and I, Tariq, and make a difference. So right now, we're coming to the end of the program now. If any of you are listening in, do send us your text messages or connect with us on our Facebook, and we can pick up with you offline. So Tariq, thank you very much for joining us at Haj Radio. And
thank you very much for having me on. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for our backroom team, without whom we could not do this. Sometimes not enough is said about them for the hard work that they do. And I'd like to say Jazakallah to them, and may Allah reward them for their efforts. they get told off when they go home. The wife beats them up, and they still come and do their thing here, don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why one of them keeps telling me that let's do a program on men getting beat up by the wife, and he had his hand over his eye. So what's happened at home then? So Jazakallah khair. We'll pick up with you tomorrow. Another wonderful guest. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu